For anyone who thinks seriously about the Kennedy administration, two topics are right at the top: civil rights.
The heart of the question is whether all Americans are to be afforded equal rights and equal opportunities.
And the space program.
We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon.
Truth is, Kennedy never cared about either of these two things until the day that he was forced to. When John F. Kennedy was campaigning for president, there were a lot of topics he talked about.
Unless the United States is second to none, then this country's survival is in danger, and so is the cause of freedom around the world.
But the whole time there were two topics that never came up: civil rights and going to the moon. Not in his Democratic convention speech.
For the problems are not all solved, and the battles are not all won. And we stand today on the edge of a new frontier.
Not in his debate with Nixon.
I'm not satisfied to have 50% of our steel mill capacity unused. I'm not satisfied when the United States had last year the lowest rate of economic growth of any major industrialized society in the world.
Civil rights just wasn't a priority. Neither was going to the moon. But that was all changed by a sequence of events over 2 months in 1961. April 12th, Yuri Gagarin becomes the first human in space. The Russians had launched Sputnik 4 years earlier, and now it's clear they are way ahead of us in space. 8 days later, April 20th, the White House realizes that the Bay of Pigs has failed. Now the Russians have a foothold in America's backyard. Kennedy calls Vice President Johnson chairman of the Space Council and asks him to come up with something fast in space. So maybe space can be the Hail Mary pass that diverts everybody's attention away from everything that's going wrong for Kennedy. So that's April 20th. May 5th, Alan Shepard becomes the first American in space. May 14th, 9 days later, the Freedom Rides start. That's where 7 black and 6 white young people got into a bus in Washington, D.C., headed for New Orleans, with whites in the back seats and blacks in the front, or blacks and whites sitting together. May 24th, the bus is firebombed in Anniston, Alabama. The next day, May 25th, President Kennedy speaks to Congress.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth.
A week later, mobs riot around the Freedom Riders bus in Montgomery, and the Alabama governor declares martial law. Now, the year before all of this, Kennedy had signed an executive order. It said all federal agencies had to examine their hiring practices, and that all federal contracts had to include anti-discrimination clauses. Now that we were going to the moon, NASA was about to start hiring 250,000 people in Alabama, Texas, Florida, Mississippi, and Louisiana.
The president and his party drove to the base of the giant Saturn. Saturn will carry an American crew to the moon in this decade.
It was also going to give out billions of dollars in contracts. At the time, NASA was a young agency and pretty small. But as it grew, along with its mission, it was going to make huge changes in communities in the South. If you want to know how all of this turned out, you can read the book behind me, We Could Not Fail, which I wrote along with Stephen Moss. There's a paperback version, and you can also get it in an audiobook form from Audible.